Good morning and welcome once again to another Talklets conversation. Let's start off in one of those conversations where it's so relevant because we're living in a time where hate seems to be more important than love. It's who do you hate the most versus who do you love the most seems to be the storyline or the tagline or the punchline or the hashtag during this season. So I've got a question for all of you who are listening to me. Can hate keep you out of heaven? That's a good question for all of us. Can hate keep you out of heaven? Go with me to the book of Galatians. Apostle Paul is talking to the Galatians who are believers. Of course, there's always non-believers in the crowd, but he's talking to them and he's making a statement. He's made it verbally before, but now he's putting it in writing. He tells them to walk in the spirit. You shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. For the flesh lusteth against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh. And then he tells them these are contrary the one to another, so that you cannot do the things that you would. But if you be led by the Spirit, ye are not under the law. Now, that's so important. If you be led by the Spirit, if you're going to walk in this, if you will, this New Testament, if you're going to walk in this new, if you will, ordinance, this new command, then you walk in the Spirit. But if you don't, then just go ahead and lay there under the law, which we know is very challenging. When we talk about sacrificial things and we talk about all the things they had to go through, nobody wants to be up under the law, but it seems like we do. There is what I call a dark side and a light side, if you will, just for this conversation. And all of us live somewhere in between the fallen state of this flesh. But when you look at it, the dark side is this world and living for this world and living for yourself. But we've been all called to embrace the light side, if you will. And by embracing the lightness, or if you will, the light, you try your best to avoid, well, don't try. If you're living in this lane where there's lightness, where there's love, you avoid darkness. Now, I'm not saying you can eliminate darkness, that's impossible, but you do avoid embracing darkness, celebrating darkness like most people do. We know about the fruit of the Spirit, but how many of you know if you just go up a few verses more, there's a dark side of your spirit if you're not careful? And it reads like this: the works of the flesh, which is darkness, or manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness, which is sinful thoughts. I never thought about that before. What does uncleanness mean? Well, sinful thoughts, sexual impurity, and demonic influence. Now, when you get a grasp on those, you know how you have family members who are hoarders, or you have family members who just simply are nasty. And maybe you're one too, who don't clean up after themselves, who don't take care of their homes and don't take care of their cars. I mean, some cars you get into, it's like, I don't think I'm sitting in that seat. I don't want to. I'll catch an Uber. It's just so nasty, so filthy. And some people hygienes are that way as well. Well, uncleanness it's a sinful thoughts and it's sexual impurity, but it's demonic influence, and that's the one that gets me. The demonic influence. I don't want no demon around me. I don't want anyone who has a demon to be around me, because that stuff is contagious, and most of us take it for granted. Also, lasciviousness. Now, it's a big word, and I couldn't really get my hand around it, so I had to go look this one up. But it's excessive sexual urges. And you know how we are. We all have seasons where we just want what we want. But this is one of those where you're addicted. You don't know how to maintain, or you don't know how to govern yourself when it comes to your sexual urges. Let's be for real, man. Come on. I mean, you talk about getting in trouble. I mean, wow, Satan uses that more than probably anything against all of us. Then there's behavior that lacks moral restraint. That's a lot of ways. I mean, that's a lot of, if you will, avenues where we lack moral restraint. Because she's doing it, I'm gonna do it. Because he did it, I mean, it's okay for me to do it. No, no. The mom used to tell you. So if Billy jumped off the mountain, would you jump off the mountain also? And some of you, that's what you're doing. You're jumping off the mountain with your friends, with your girlfriends, with your dudes, just because a celebrity did it. It's on social media, so it must be cool. No, it's not cool. It's immoral. I just pray you realize that that's what keeps us out of heaven, because to do these things, you have to hate yourself. I know you say, no, no, I love myself, man. Well, those who love themselves give themselves the best. And so we're not giving ourselves the best. We're shacking up with the kingdom of the enemy, because we enjoy these things, especially when we're young. I mean, we just give ourselves to these things. As we get older, we get a little wiser, and we try to refrain from some things. But for the most part, we've all indulged in some of these things that Paul is talking about. He talks about idolatry, witchcraft. And here's this word that I'm really lingering this whole conversation on: hatred. And we all know what hate is. Hate is the opposite of love. It's just as simple as that. It's the opposite of love. And then he says variance, and I couldn't quite understand that one, but that's quarreling. That's disagreement. You know how you quarrel with somebody, you disagree with somebody, you just can't stop it. I mean, every time you see them, it's going to be a fight. It's going to be a verbal fight, or it's going to be a fight to the end. That's crazy. But that's what we do. But that's what hate brings in. That's what the dark side of the spirit brings in. And then there's emulation. That's a big one. I thought I knew what that was, and then I really had to listen to this one, because we all fall in between this gap. It's enthusiasm. And you wouldn't think that would be wrong. Well, it's not. It's passion. Now, hold up. Now, we all want passion. It's fervor. Well, come on. I mean, that stuff is the stuff that keeps us inspired and keeps us going, Donnie, right? And then it says eagerness to achieve something. So let me read like this. It says enthusiasm, passion, fervor, devotion, eagerness to achieve something. What it's saying is you're overdoing it. You're doing it for yourself. Yeah, you've got this enthusiasm for yourself to bring light to you, to let people see who you are, to focus on you. You're over enthusiasm. Yeah, you're over. Your passion is just overrunning, overboard. Well, I want my cup to run over. Well, some things don't need to run over, because it sheds too much light on you. And then devotion, eagerness to achieve something, to bring all the attention to you. That's what this word is. That's a very important word, because we all find ourselves really being over, if you will, stimulated in areas of our lives. And Paul is saying that's too much is too much. That's why you find yourself on the dark side of life, because you're giving yourself the stuff for yourself. And then he talks about wrath and strife. And here comes another word, sedition. I had to look that one up. Now that's overt conduct. Watch this. It's where you're talking, or you're inciting, if you will, people to rebel against established order. It's where you're going against the police. It's where you're going against the judges. You're going against the lawyers. You're going against the laws, the bylaws that set up for this country, for the country you live in. You're going against your mother, your father, rules for the house. That's what that one is, sedition. It's where you speak out against it, and you're organizing people all around you to rebel. Seditions. Do you see yourself? Do you see yourself in some of these? And then there's heresies. Beliefs or opinions contrary to what the general, if you will, what you generally accepted. It's like, well, I want to go against the grain. You've heard that before. Matter of fact, you've done that before. That's heresy. That's up like mutiny, to take their matters into your own hand because you don't like the way someone else is doing it. And then he talks about envying and murder and drunkenness. And here's this other word, revel or reveling. It's enjoying oneself in a lively and noisy way. Recently in Cabo, this young lady sat behind us, and you could tell she had been drinking quite a bit, and she was so loud. Don't get me wrong, I'm not judging her because you don't know what she's been through. But it's just an example of just in a place, and when everyone has to turn around and look at you, you're pretty loud. I know you're excited, you're happy. Don't tell her what took place, but she just was loud. She was on a 10 the whole afternoon. And so all the focus was on her. And that's some of you. You can be so loud in a party, in a get together, wherever you are. But that's what reveling is. It's enjoying oneself in a lively and noisy way. It doesn't stop there, especially when drinking and dancing. Now, David danced. I want to dance like David danced. Well, David danced for the glory of God. You're dancing for the glory of yourself. That's beautiful. When you start twerking and jerking, you think the Lord wants, no, I don't think he wants to see all that. Somebody told me, nobody don't want to see all that. That's nasty. But when you're drinking and when you're dancing, you tend to get loud because the music is loud. And if you're not careful, you'll find yourself in a demonic environment versus one that's holy and spiritual. You'll find yourself doing stuff that you wouldn't normally do. God walk up to you, he dancing up on you, and you start backing it up. Well, how are you backing this up on a stranger? What are you doing? But that's what we do, see, because music has a way of, letting your guards down. Drinking has a way of letting your guards down. Govern yourselves in every situation, in every place that you're in. When you realize you're the loudest person in the room, you need to check yourself. Something's wrong with that picture. It says something more about you than it does about everybody else. Paul says, in such like, he talks about, of the which I tell you before. He says, I've told you this before. Verbally, he told the Galatians this before. If you go back up to Galatians chapter 5, verse 3, we're down here in the deeper part of Galatians. But he says, I told you before these things. And so, but now I'm going to put them in writing to you. He says, that they which do such things shall not. Listen to me, this is big. All I just read to you is the dark side of the spirit. If you do this stuff, you shall not inherit the kingdom of God. Now, I don't know about you, but that bothers my spirit. I mean, come on. I want to have fun out here too, Donnie. Well, have fun. But there's a limit to how much fun you need to be having to where you find yourself venturing over to the dark side of feeding you, of blessing you, of worshiping you, of bringing all the attention to you. We've got so many people we could really point out that do this on a daily basis. But I just pray you realize you need to check yourself before you, as they say, wreck yourself, because it's too important to give up the kingdom over twerking and jerking. And if you look at TV and you look at social media, I mean, I'm just looking at other nationalities. Their kids are doing math and English and being innovative and creative. And our kids are just dancing and jerking and rapping and doing all this stuff that's entertainment. I'm telling you, something's wrong. So do we not love ourselves, to give ourselves the best, to give our children the best? I know some of you are going to be offended by me when I'm saying this, but I'm just being honest with you. If there was a war today and it was based on the youth of between 5 to 7 or 10 to 12 years old, and we put them out to war to fight for us, they get their butts kicked because other countries, other nationalities are not playing. Their kids are learning. Their kids they have morals. I mean, they have respect. There's a war happening right now. The Lord told Eve, he told Satan, I'm putting enmity between you and the woman, between her seed and your seed. He said, between you and her. He says, you two are going to have war against each other. You two are going to fight one another. That's what he's saying. That's what you two are going to hate each other. Some of you decided not to hate him. You decided to celebrate him, embrace him, if you will, and decided to let him do the things that he wants to do with you and in you. There's a movie, one of my best movies of all time, Star Wars. It goes like this because it's relatable to hate and how hate can turn you to the dark side. It says, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, remind me of once upon a time kind of storytelling, darkness spread across the galaxy. The Jedi Order, once peacekeepers of the Republic, now face betrayal from within. And that's what happens when you find yourself being over enthused, you find yourself over celebrating. It's you, it's your spirit inside of you worshiping you. Yeah, allowing you to be the biggest thing in the room, the biggest thing in the conversation. Instead of you simply enjoying it, enjoying the party, enjoying the conversation, you become the party, you become the conversation. Because what's within you is trying to come out of you, and it needs to be delivered, to be honest with you. Not jerked around like dancing, but really be delivered from you, because it's not the light, it's darkness. As the Clone War rage on, Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi is hunted by visions of a growing evil. And by the burden of training, a powerful young Jedi, Anakin Skywalker, we call him Luke, unaware of the terrible fate that looms, Kenobi must walk the path between duty and destiny, where every choice may shape the future of the galaxy. Sounds like your life. The Force bends all living things, the Force. We're going to talk about the Spirit. We talk about the supernatural Spirit of the Holy Spirit. The Force bends all living things, guiding those who seek peace and harmony, or in tempting others with power and control. For generations, the Jedi have stood as guardians of the light, defending the innocent. But in the shadows, the Sith, yeah, this is their enemy, plot their return, fueling conflict, fear, and anger. That's what you see happening right now. I mean, that's what's happening to all of us right now. This whole world is inciting, fueling conflict, fear, and anger. The Lord tells you, fear only Him. Fear only Him. That's when you know that you're in the right place, when you fear only Him. You don't get into all this conversation about what one man is doing, hating this one man or this woman. You realize that God is in control. That God is the puppet master, if you will, and He's moving all the strings. And He is using people to get your attention, not to distract you, to get your attention, but you're being distracted by what you see, not by what you should see through your spirit. As the balance wavers, new heroes rise while old legends fall. And that's what's happening right now. There's a changing of the guard right now. I don't know if you see it, but the elderly people are moving on. And there's a new hero. This younger group is coming forward. Now, what it's going to look like when all the cornies are left behind, I don't know, but it might not look pretty because the mindsets of the people behind us, it's puzzling because it's gender, it's, my gosh, it's sexual identity. I mean, it's perverted. The war between light and darkness begins anew, and the fate of the galaxy hangs in the force. It hangs in the balance. Luke Skywalker joins Obi-Wan Kenobi and he's his mentor. And Luke is in this fight with Darth Vader, if you know, Darth Vader's the dark side. Because Darth Vader, this little group, they want to control the world. And they want everything to be dark and dead, if you will. They like darkness. They like being in control in darkness. But Luke finds out as he's fighting Darth Vader tells him, Luke, I am your father. Now, think how startling that is. Satan is telling some of you right now that he is your father. And you don't want to hear it, but you should listen to him because you can't really divorce him if you don't listen to him and understand that you've been shacking with him for some time. Yeah, you've been praising him for some time. You've allowed him to enter you and to distort your view of the world. Because see, that's what hate does. Hate distorts your view of yourself and of the world. It hardens your heart. It blinds your mind from the truth. That's what hate does. It manipulates you. It weakens you. It don't strengthen you. Hate weakens you. It makes you vulnerable. And it clouds your thinking. So this morning I pray, Father God, thank you for waking me up this morning in my right mind, which means I have the will to keep my mind righteous, to keep it right, or I have the will to allow it to be unjust, to go wrong, to be unrighteous. So Lord, it's up to me, Lord, to manage this mind that you have given me, which at times can be scary because It's a proposition, if you think about it, that's based on my will, on me managing my will to do as I please. It makes me pause and take a deep breath because I get to control me. That's tough. I don't know if I want to control me by myself because that's tough. That's why I've hooked up with the Spirit of God. That's why I've hooked up with the light side of things. So, Lord, let me align myself with the things of God and not the things of man, not the things of me. Yeah. And so I find myself embracing the fruit, if you will, of the Spirit. So I got 9 virtues for you when it talks about the fruit of the Spirit. I want you to grasp this because this is where we all should be. We should be achieving these things if we're walking in the light: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. That's Galatians chapter 5, verse 22 to 23. That's where we're kind of really, if you will, hinging this whole conversation on, is that are you walking on the dark side? Or are you walking in lightness with your Lord and Savior Jesus Christ? There's a song that says it's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday, but it's even harder to say goodbye to this old nature. Yeah, it's hard to say goodbye to yesteryears of the old sinner and the sin that I used to love and be in love with. See, we're all a daily work in progress. That's why we got to stay close to the light and understand darkness comes for resting, not for hating and bad behavior and bad character, being judgmental. No, 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 no. Darkness is for resting. It's for those to rest. But how many know evil comes out when it's dark outside? It's like it's crazy, but I always told my kids and tell them still now, my grandchildren, there's nothing out there after 12 o'clock. Nothing but the devil. It's like God goes to bed at 12. I've been up long enough, but I'm going to bed now. And boy, you don't want to be up when God is going to bed. But so many of us are. We party, we enjoying ourselves. I'm telling you, you've got to understand this is a war that you're in. And hate is just like a dark cloud upon all of us doing